Good evening and good afternoon to all of you out there in Viewerland. Welcome to the Hump Day edition of The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the left coast. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
No, I make an effort to try and be here every day to help you on the East Coast hosting. My name is Mike Borski, and it's a pleasure to be here with you and everyone out there in Viewerland.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So how are we doing today, my fine sir?
Oh, listen, it's today's the Hump Day, right? Which means I'm trying to make it my Friday as well. So which means I'm going to work a very, very long day today. So to make my Thursday and Friday more like Saturday and Saturday.
That would be my goal. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to make it this week. Thursday, maybe after Thursday. That may be, my actual end of the week, hopefully.
Well, like I said, listen, I'll probably still end up working Thursday and Friday, but my attitude will be more Saturday and Saturday.
Got it. And any special plans for the upcoming weekend?
Fly.
Oh. You've been doing a lot of flying lately.
A lot of flying. Doing a transition into a new aircraft right now. So
nice.
Having a good time. In fact, if you've ever seen the TV show or the movie MASH, the Bell 47 Army H-13 helicopters, I'm flying those right now.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yep.
How'd you get into flying those? I mean, what's the thing that led up to you now starting to train on that?
Like, hey, that's a cool helicopter. And the guy said, if you want, we can get you in there and get you certified on that. I'm like, let's do it then. And that's pretty much it. Wow. But once you're in that flying community, the opportunities are a lot different. So you've got to work towards becoming a pilot. You do all your time on your pilot, get yourself a bunch of hours, and then once you're in that aviation community, the doors just kind of open a little more frequently for you because you're already in the door. You're in the building now. You just got the doors inside.
There you go. Everybody's got a plane. They're like, hey, come fly my plane.
It's exactly what it is.
Or my helicopter.
Exactly. Because I've got a little plane, and you're like, hey, how about we do that? And he's like, yeah, come on. You can borrow the plane. I'll borrow the helicopter. We'll do all this kind of stuff together. And that's really what it is. It's kind of like anything, car clubs or anything else that you're in where boat guys, they all share. It's the same way in the aviation community.
So if we ever need like a helicopter for a movie or a commercial or something, you're the guy to call.
That's right. But we need to have the police there to check and make sure the guns are real or not.
It's called the Alec Baldwin rule.
The Alec Baldwin rule. Yes, that's exactly right. That's right. Only one killing allowed per movie. Yeah.
Exactly. And preferably, you have to be anti-gun to be able to kill someone on a movie set.
That's right. Yeah, exactly right.
That is the rule. So let it be written. So let it be done.
That's it.
All right. Well, let's get into today's stories. Mikey, you set this one up. So I'm going to let you take the lead on this one because I know that there will probably be a fair amount of gloating on this one. So I will give you bragging rights. So go for it.
This is just to show you, when they say follow the science, Craig, that now they're absolutely 100%. It's one of those days and one of those stories where they're going to ignore the science. Florida has been without masks for a very, very long time. We did the 2 to 3 week mask thing to flatten the curve, and that's pretty much it. You haven't seen anybody wear a mask since, and most of us didn't wear a mask during that original period. We have a couple of liberal counties in the state, like everybody else does. Dade County, Broward County, Tallahassee, where that's Leon County, and then even where I live for parts of it, Orange County, where they wanted to put masks in schools. Well, even that's all gone now. The COVID rate is so low. Our masks are now optional, everywhere else in the state, just like DeSantis, Governor DeSantis put them a long time ago. And even now in those liberal counties, they've become optional. There's no place in Florida where masks are mandatory unless you're getting on an airplane. Let's say that. We've been without masks for a while. Vaccinations, you cannot force people to have vaccinations in Florida. If you're a company or an organization and you force people to have vaccinations, the state is lining up to fine you and put your business on hold because you will play ball by Governor DeSantis's rules, or he will jam the bat up your ass. That's just the way he plays the game. Well, Craig, even with all of the things we're not doing, and you in California have still your mandatory masks, you still have your mandatory vaccinations. Well, the COVID rate in California is currently twice of what it is here in Florida. Thank you very much.
Yes, and by the way, just so you folks know, it is not of my doing. It is not policies of which I approve, but it's the state of the state that I am in.
Yes. Yes.
Well, and it's funny, and I think it goes back to the very same thing that we've always said on this show. Here's the thing about COVID. Everybody's eventually going to get it.
Yes.
A huge percentage of people who get it are going to be just fine after they get it. A large percentage. Obviously, the younger and the healthier you are, the better off you're going to be. We also know that if you get it and you survive it, that you are going to develop antibodies that are going to make it so that if you get it again, you're going to be even better. Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's the science. I don't understand why people are fighting it. Now, if you get the vaccine, it improves your chances of not dying of COVID. But guess what? You're still going to get it. You can still pass it along. If you wear a mask, it barely. Now, if you're wearing an N95 mask, it might improve your chances of not getting COVID. Might. A little bit. It more prevents you from spreading it. But if you're wearing a regular cloth mask, it barely reduces your likelihood of your getting it or spreading it. That's the science. Yet for some reason in the state of California, we're not going to follow the science here. We don't do science in the state of California. What we do in the state of California is we promote fear. We shut down businesses. We shut down the economy. We force our children to stay home from school. And we shame others if they don't agree with the fascist mandates of the state. All that having been said, the overall mortality rate and infection rate for California and Florida are about the same. Maybe it's slightly, and I would just say slightly higher in Florida at one point. But now we know that is not the case. And Mike, the thing that's so frustrating about it is that you knew this was going to be the way it was going to be. And yet still, here we are 20 months in, and we still are in a state of emergency in the state of California. The problem now is the emergency is not COVID. It's the man-made, the Gavin Mussolini made economic downturn in the state of California and the economy that he's created that is the emergency.
Yeah, it's the tyrannical control, that you have going on with your state government there. And listen, I wish I could tell you that in Florida we did everything absolutely perfect. We figured out the science, and it's still not true. Our government and our state health people looked at it and said, listen, it's going to spread like the flu is going to spread. You do what you can. Otherwise, you got to continue to drive on. You got to continue to work every day and go to school every day. You can't burn down the house to kill the spiders. And that's what they decided to do here. So, listen, we had a higher rate 2 months ago because that was the COVID D variant that came through. It was this season's variant that came through. People got it, but you know what we did here? We went to work every day. Went to school every day. Like everything was normal. All right. We didn't stop. We didn't stop to flatten the curve and try and make sure there were enough ICU beds and enough ventilators to go around for everybody.
Well, supposedly you guys
you've got that now. It's hitting you now, Craig. You're getting that COVID D variant, which is why you're on the higher end. But again, you already said this. It makes the point that the masks and everything else you're doing are not going to stop you from getting this. Everybody's going to get it. When the flu comes through town, everybody's getting the flu except them 20-30% of people that don't get it because they have great immune systems, and they do everything perfect.
Right. And guess what? Those of you who are at higher risk, you as individuals, you make choices that put you at less risk, right? That's what you do.
Yeah.
If you're someone if you're young and you're healthy and you have no pre-existing conditions, you're going to go about living your life. I still remember back early on in COVID when young people were getting together and they were getting mad and they wanted to shut down colleges and throw people out of school for going to parties. And people are like, well, I can't believe what they're doing. I said, they're following the science. The science says if you're like 18, 19, 20 years old, the chances of you having serious effects from COVID are very, very slim. Right. Not impossible, but very slim.
Right.
They're following the science.
Yeah,
anyway.
I continue to see the lies. In fact, it was more of Fauci's nonsense yesterday that everybody in the hospital that is there for COVID, they did not have the vaccination, and we know that's not true. We continue to see those numbers are equaling out. You're down to people that either, like you said, they're going to get it. People are just going to get it, and some people have immunities, natural immunities. Some don't. Some have the vaccine. Everything is just it's happening for the cycle of this virus.
But Mike, and the other thing is this: is not everybody in the hospital with COVID is there because of COVID.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's again more not even the diluting of the numbers, but we're changing what the numbers look like.
Exactly.
That's not a number. That's a letter now. Don't even look at it. Don't even look.
Exactly. So. Now, speaking of continuing on along the line of COVID, Howard Stern decided he wanted to put his voice out there regarding Aaron Rodgers. Now, for those of you who do not know, Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. I hate him because he knocked my Cowboys out of the playoffs one year. I hate you, Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Aaron, I don't know you to hate you, but I hate the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. But in this particular case, he didn't get vaccinated, and it turns out he's tested positive for COVID. And Howard Stern is basically saying, and for those of you who don't know who Howard Stern is, whacked out, and I believe coked up radio jockey, shock jock, who says whatever comes to his mind. But he's basically come out and said that he believes that Aaron Rodgers should be kicked out of the NFL for not getting vaccinated and for lying. I'm interested to hear your take on this, Mike. What do you think? First of all, I don't think he should be kicked out for not being vaccinated.
Well, let's be clear. This wasn't just Howard Stern. I don't want to throw this all on Howard there. This was also Jimmy Kimmel, who is the front man for ABC. He is ABC's face of entertainment, right? So this is also coming from the mainstream media as well, and their representatives.
Well, and also Terry Bradshaw.
And Terry Bradshaw, which if you've seen anything about Terry Bradshaw recently, he's loopy at this point.
He's Terry Bradshaw.
Way too many hits in the head. Way too many hits in the head back in the day. Terry used to block with his face. He's the kind of thing. And he was the quarterback, so he shouldn't have been blocking with his face. Aaron Rodgers, I think wasn't he also last year's league MVP? I'm not sure. I
believe so. Yes,
football in a while, but
I believe
he is a rather popular quarterback. Now, I believe, and I'm trying to remember what his quote was when he was asked earlier in the season about vaccinations and everything. He said something along.
He was inoculated, is what he said.
Yes, that he had inoculations, or he'd been inoculated. Now, so he didn't say he'd been vaccinated. So all of those that are saying, well, he lied about being vaccinated, that's not true. And listen, once again, support the individual's right, just as they do in Florida, just as they're in California and everywhere else, the individual's right to get with their physician, to get with their family, and decide if it's right for them or not. Listen, he's the league MVP, so he's clearly, I don't know, probably a healthy guy, right? I'm guessing he's probably not running around out there with asthma or cystic fibrosis or something like that would put him at a higher risk. If him and his doctor and his family said not required, then I think he's all right. I think he's good to go.
Well, it's funny because I ask people all the time, so how many Major League Baseball players, professional football players, or NFL football players, or NBA, any of these guys, how many of them have you heard who've come down with COVID have been hospitalized? And people will say absolutely none. I said,
well, that's true. I did hear it was last year's. In fact, it was a year and a half ago, 2 years. Freddie Freeman from the Braves, he did get it pretty bad.
Okay,
and I think he was. I'm not sure if he was hospitalized, but I know he was. It did affect him. So I do know one baseball player that had it pretty bad.
And there's one basketball player who had a really negative reaction to the vaccine.
Right.
The thing is especially, and I really do think that like the myocarditis issue, especially with athletes, I think is an issue because they do put so much stress on their heart in the midst of their activity. It's a major issue with a lot of athletes. And so I get why they would not want to get the vaccine because quite frankly, they're not high risk for dying of COVID-19. So I get why they wouldn't want to do it. I think the whole issue of whether or not he lied, I think it was his attempt to, it was definitely an attempt to mislead people when he answered, I'm inoculated. Because he knows what they were asking. He's not stupid.
Sure.
Having said that, you know what? My medical decisions are really none of your friggin' business.
Yep.
And that's what I probably would have said. I said, do
Right.
you want to know if I'm circumcised? Right? Do you want to know if I have my tonsils out? Do you want to know that? Do you want to know if I got shot for the flu?
Two completely different procedures, by the way, just to say.
Yeah, pretty much. But they're medical procedures.
Yes.
Right? They are medical procedures.
Yes.
And I'm just like, it's really none of your business what I do. Well, you could spread the disease. Well, guess what? If you're vaccinated, you can spread the disease as well. So no, it does matter to me. In fact, I haven't gone any place that requires you to show proof of vaccination. But the first thing I'm going to ask the person who asked me for my proof of vaccination, I'm going to say, well, show me yours and I'll show you mine.
There you go. But I'm not required to. But why not?
Why not?
You can get your own.
You are here in a public place. Well, my employer checks no, I don't trust your employer.
That's right.
I don't trust your employer. I tell you what, you show me yours, I'll show you mine.
I think that's what it's come down to, right?
Right.
It's come down to, I don't trust you, you don't trust me.
Right.
Show me your papers, please. Show me your papers.
Exactly. That just makes absolutely no sense. And once again, if you're an employee, at that point, your decision better be, oh, I'm done, because I'm not showing you mine.
Right. Exactly.
None of your friggin' business.
Yep. Good stuff.
Anyway, and so I just think that, Howard Stern, of anybody who thinks he has a right to tell people how to live their lives and make medical decisions about their body, screw you.
Now, if Howard wants to come on and say, I don't agree with Aaron Rodgers' decision, I'm all right with that.
Right.
If Howard wants to come on and say, I think he should be thrown out of the league because I have nothing to do with the league officials, nothing to do with the league rules of NFL, and I think they should go like this based on my influence, it's going to cause problems, then that's an issue.
Right.
You don't get to decide what's going on. Craig, if you could check sound, I'm getting that echo. I don't know if you've got something going on there, but so he doesn't get to do that. And the one I have more heartache with here is the Jimmy Kimmel, because he is the voice of mainstream media, of ABC, of the news reporting agency. So he's out there for mainstream spreading this nonsense out there.
Well, yes, exactly. And mind you, Jimmy Kimmel is a comedian, so
yeah, he stopped being a comedian a long time ago, and he's an activist now. We've all seen the fight between him and Adam Carolla and everything else.
Let's be clear, he's a woketivist.
He's a woketivist. Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah.
Well, which is why no one watches late night TV anymore, anyway.
Correct, especially old Kimmel.
Right.
By the way, who believed in having women on trampolines. He used to put the juggy girls on the trampolines and make them jump up and down in their cheerleader and bikinis, and yet now he's all me too, me too, me too.
Mm-hmm. That was back when you used to watch Jimmy Kimmel, huh?
When he was on the Man Show, because you know what he did? Man stuff.
Man stuff.
Yep.
That's stuff men do.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. We're gonna end that conversation right there. We're gonna end that conversation right there. Okay, moving right along to tolerating. So the San Francisco Chronicle. Oh my God. So they write an article, they write a piece, and they actually send out a tweet. And in this tweet, they are arguing, or they're posturing the question, should San Franciscans just, tolerate the burglaries and fortify their homes against burglary, in an era of trying to be smart on crime and do criminal justice reform. And Twitter is Twitter's always all ablaze, but Twitter, people have they are so angry right now with the San Francisco Chronicle. And I honestly cannot blame them. To have the media basically say, yeah, no, you know what? Those people that are stealing your stuff, that are breaking into your car, that are trying to break into your home where your children sleep, yeah, you should just put up with that. Because, we're trying to be smart on crime and help those victims who are, messed up on meth and, trying to, steal your stuff. They're victims.
Well, Craig, it's not just the media saying that. It's your state attorney saying that. It's your attorney general. It's even your governor's office. When they all continue to let the bad people out of prison with having no penalties, no fines, no bond to hold you pre-trial, then it's not coming from just the media. It is your local and state government's policy to allow crime to occur, and everybody else is just going to have to deal with it.
Well, but the thing about the media is the number one thing of the media should be, or at least they should be about, one, reporting the news, number two, holding elected officials or holding the government accountable. And when you see a policy is clearly not working, don't go and parrot the talking points of the people who've instituted those policies. How about you take a look at how it's impacting the people and you get them to reconsider whether or not that policy actually makes sense?
Craig, haven't you learned yet? It has nothing to do with whether the policy is real or not, or whether it's the truth. Control the media, control the masses, control the media, control the message, control the message, control the masses. And there you go, because these elected officials are in cahoots with the media. They put out the message they want, and if they say it enough over and over, the people like drones will just say, "Oh, this is right. This is good. That's what it is." How else do you get, half the country following around the 79-year-old guy who's pooping himself around the world and thinking this guy knows what he's doing? Because the media has never said one bad thing about him.
Well, we all know about him and his we'll have a story about his emissions policy later.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
But seriously though, folks, you have a government and a media who literally want you to accept the fact. They want you to accept it as the new normal. My wife and I, we love going running on our bike trail out here. And if you look out near levees and in some of the places, there's literally trash strewn everywhere. You cannot go on the bike path and not, you can't do it by yourself. I can't let my wife go out there by herself like she used to be able to, because there's all sorts of people out there looking to do all sorts of harm to people who are there on the bike trail. And that used to not be the case just a couple of years ago. And we're supposed to accept that as the new normal. On top of it, we're supposed to pay more taxes for it. And we're supposed to then pay more to fortify our homes to keep them, because obviously our home is a temptation for them, right? Yeah. It is beyond incredulous. And I really do believe that there will either be an awakening in the Democratic Party with the pro-law and order Democrat, or Republicans are going to take over in many major cities, because the people, the voters, are just, to a certain degree, the people who are actually going to show up to the polls are not going to put up with it.
I don't believe you're going to see Republicans take over these liberal cities. I believe you're going to see more of the Detroit model, where the liberals that live there and the Democrats that live there just abandon the city. They're just like, that's it, done.
Well, I'm more talking like in terms of in some state houses, and in some counties where you have, in the urban center of the county, you have the woktivists, and yes. And then the rural areas or the more suburban areas, you're going to start to see some changes in terms of the politics.
Once the crime gets too much and then the money's gone, the people that live there can't continue to make any money to stay there. Again, they're going to do like Detroit. They're going to abandon that city. You'll have
make it look like a bombed out third world country.
Yep, exactly right.
Yep. Sorry, Rick, but yeah, yo, it looks like a bombed out third world country.
Yep, yeah, it's exactly right.
Okay, moving right along. Now this is an interesting one. So there is a program where it's basically, this was a program at a school, and I forget where. Do you want to look it up for me, Mikey, real quick? Let me know exactly.
Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania. Okay. So in the morning announcements, they're doing an announcement about a drone school, right? And at this drone school, they're going to learn about how to do drones. They're talking about there's so many career opportunities with drones and yada, yada, yada. But there's only one problem with this. Now, it's completely free. They've got 24 spots, but only black students are allowed to go. No white students, no Asian students, no Latino students. Only white students are allowed to go. Now, while I completely and utterly understand the why they want to increase interest in STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and math, amongst all groups of people, in this case specifically targeting African Americans, I don't think that creating an event that says, only that no whites need apply, I don't think that is going to do a lot to promote racial diversity and harmony.
Yeah, this is some school district out of Pennsylvania. I can't get to it because it's on one of those block sites. I've been to it too many times, so they don't get my clicks anymore. Craig, no, I'm curious. You got this story down. Was this because was there some sort of scholarship program, but it was only for the African American kids? Is that the reason they
I
said
don't
no
know if it was.
whites, or?
So it's sponsored by the Black Student Union.
Okay.
So I mean, I once again, while I get the targeting of and the encouragement of Black students to attend, even on college campuses and anywhere, most places, it's like you may have something where you target a specific group and encourage them to participate. Right. I've never been to one of these where they say, yeah, if you aren't part of this group, I could see them even saying, if you're a member of the Black Student Union, you get priority, right? Because you don't have to be white to be a member of the Black Student Union. Right. Even that would make sense. But to say, based on the color of your skin, you may or may not be allowed to participate, that ain't right.
No, I agree. And I'm curious if this got presented wrong. Like okay, we do have money available for the Black students. We don't have any for whites because it's from a Black youth organization. Should it have been worded like, listen, there's some scholarships available. If you don't qualify for a scholarship, you can still pay to go. Should they have said it that way? But yeah, on the face of this is clearly, reverse racism. Is right. It's exclusionary based on a race, color, creed. Gender, whatever. And, so it's clearly inappropriate, especially for a school system.
Right. Once again, I get the idea of encouraging groups that traditionally don't participate in STEM sorts of studies and activities or go into STEM careers. I get the idea of encouraging them, but you don't do it by discouraging other people and by locking out other people.
Exactly.
Right? No, I just don't believe that you do that. I believe that you can create a reason. You can have diversity without discrimination. And that's what this is the exact opposite of that. This is discrimination, period, in the name of diversity.
Isn't that what we were looking for? Isn't that the goal, right? Infinite diversity and infinite combinations. Isn't that what we want?
Right. Exactly.
When you start excluding people, you're never going to get that.
Exactly. Okay, and then we've got, this is a fun one. So now we're going to move on to Biden's emission policy. So, I'm sorry, I can barely talk about this one without laughing. So, Camilla Parker Bowles, she is the Duchess of Cornwall, right? She had a meeting with President Biden. And, let's just say that during this meeting, there was an expelling of gases. I believe methane gas specifically. Yes. As I was corrected earlier before we came on.
Somebody needs to notify AOC about this also.
Yes. So he basically expelled methane gas in a very long and loud process. And needless to say, the Duchess of Cornwall has been all aghast.
Yep.
She cannot stop talking about it. And, so the rumors you heard about Joe Biden pooping his pants, that's probably where they came from.
Well, that and the poop in his pants is probably one of the reasons, because I think that's all confirmed. They just don't want to let that out. And yes, she definitely was all gassed. She did get she did get a dose. Evidently the old POTUS there decided that he was going to let one go like only a 79-year-old man could, and just ripped a long one to the point where the Duchess had to stop in the middle of conversation and ask, "Are you all right?" And he was like, "Oh no, I'm fine." And he just pretended as it never happened and just kept going. And that became the topic of Buckingham Palace there. So and then he went on to meet the Queen, which again we've already had the stories. He pooped in front of the Queen and he pooped in front of the Pope, but the Pope was back in the Vatican. But yeah, the Duchess is. Listen, she put her hand on a Bible, she'll swear to it. I have no idea, but this is the story that it's all she's talking about.
She has no reason to lie.
No, everything's taken care of for her. Yeah.
Those leftists over there love Joe Biden. Why would they lie on him?
Yeah. So
folks, here's the thing, and I get it. You know what? He's 78 years old.
9.
79 years old. But folks, we all saw where he was headed during the campaign. As much as they tried to hide him, it was very obvious that he was beyond his prime. That the physical challenges that he is facing are just a symbol of the problem. The mental challenges that he is obviously facing, it's having an impact. It's having an impact on our foreign policy. It's having an impact on our domestic policy. It's having an impact on our economy, on our educational system, on our armed forces. And the very fact that, none of you are really willing to admit it. And now, by the way, to a certain degree, I get why you don't want to admit it, because if you do admit it and you do address it, that means Kamala Harris becomes president. And she doesn't even have, being 78 years old as an excuse. All she's got is that she's never really done anything substantively correct in any form of public policy ever in her entire life. And yet she's the one that y'all picked to be the vice president.
Yeah, and listen, I hear all the ridiculous rumors that it's Biden is being controlled by Chinese nationalists and all of this, and that they're running the country. Listen, here's what I know. I know what the signs of dementia are. I know what the signs once you're into dementia, incontinence is accompanies that. And that's where he is now. I know they carry him they follow him around with a bag of meds. I see him falling asleep during the daytime. I see a 79-year-old man who's got dementia and he's got incontinence, and they're trying to control the dementia with the medication. The incontinence cannot be controlled with anything except a diaper. So they're having to deal with that, and it's only a matter of time, like I said, Craig, that they're going to have to do something, either find a dummy replacement, like they do in the movies, or
right.
It's going to be President Kamala.
Right. And, and once again, I will continue to say that the problem right now is that you guys picked him. Democrats picked him, and they don't want to own it. None of them want to own it. And
they don't, Craig. Listen, what's the saying? Whether if it's a Republican or a Democrat, if you're what's a yellow dog Democrat? A yellow dog Democrat means we'd rather see a yellow dog in the White House as a Democrat than any other candidate. Right. They don't care. There's no care whatsoever, because they don't care if it's the individual controlling it or the party controlling it. That's what they want. It's not that they are not seeing that this man has dementia and he's pooping himself. It's that Democrats are in control, and we don't care if it's his team of people or himself. That's all we care about.
And that is highly, highly, highly unfortunate.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to move right along because we're here at the bottom of the hour. Right along to our party shot.
Biden pooping on Kamala Harris. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So now this one probably explains, number one, I think it definitely explains what occurred in Virginia and in New Jersey this past election, off-year election. But I also believe that if they don't wake up, this is going to be exactly what happens in the upcoming 2022 election to the Democratic Party. It says America is systemically racist, sexist, homophobic, patriarchal, exploitive, oppressive, and toxic to the environment. And then you have the family that is there say, we'll probably vote Republican. Oh, was it something I said? You guys do realize that's exactly how Donald Trump got elected, right?
Yep.
You literally had Democrats, white Democrats, white female Democrat, basically talk about how evil white people, in particular white men, in particular white Anglo-Saxon Protestant men, how evil they were, and how they were a problem and a blight on society. And at a certain point, a lot of blue-collar union Democrat members said, you know what, I'm not going to put up with this. And they voted for Donald Trump. And, in this special election, you had the only thing that was missing in that is they should have been pointing out that, Yeah, they should have been pointing out how you don't have any decision or any choice as to, you shouldn't have any say in what your kids learn in school. If they'd thrown that in, it would have been perfect. And that then turned away those moms, those soccer moms. I mean, and the funny part is that they know it. They know that they turned off a lot of female voters, period, by the way. When they came out and they said that, yeah, you shouldn't have any real say as to what your children are learning. And as long as they continue to say stuff like that, I think it benefits the Republican Party, as long as we can offer an alternative, not just be anti-them. We have to be about what's positive about what we believe.
Yeah, you're right. This is why Hillary Clinton lost the election, because she, remember, the platform was, and really her only platform was, I'm a woman and it's a woman's time. We're going to burst the glass ceiling and do all of that. But she continued to make these comments, and the rest of the nation went, no, listen, you can be a woman all you want, but we're not doing this stuff. We're not doing this stuff. And now they come out and they do this in Virginia, and they say things like, yeah, you don't get a say in what goes on in your child's education. And then the mother said, hold on. Now, Craig, you really want to mess with the mother? What do? You go after the Cubs, right? And Mama Bear came out across the state and said, no. You don't get to say what happens to the Cubs. I'm the Mama Bear. I get to say what happens to the Cubs. And that's what happened.
Exactly. And the funny part is that you listen to some Democrats and they get it, but then you listen to others and they don't. And the number of ones that get it are in the minority.
Yeah.
And then they're not the loudest ones, by the way.
Yep.
So it'll be very interesting to see what exactly winds up happening in this upcoming election. I don't think they're going to get it in enough time, and I think they're going to wind up taking some massive losses. Hopefully.
Yep. Agreed.
All right, Mikey. Hey, how about a shout out to our sponsors before we take off today?
Hey, to our sponsors, our good friends over at Gorilla Machining, our good friends over at Grid Defense, and then, of course, our great friends over at the California Republican Assembly. You should be clicking and liking and going to all of their pages and helping them out and making donations and making purchases and just show them how much you appreciate them, as we do as well.
Exactly. You helping them not only helps yourself, but helps us. So please go do that. Click, like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us on Facebook, and encourage your friends to do the same.
Yep. It helps us help you, help us to help you. Yeah.
What he said. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow on Thirsty Thursday. Wow, it's coming up already.
Slurpee. See you guys tomorrow.
See, I'm like, yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow.